Are we not in entertainment right now? Are we not entertaining you?
Are you not entertained?
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners and viewers. We're in our living room area today.
That means it's Q and
A. We're answering your questions today. Thank you to all who submitted questions. They're just getting so good. Mm-hmm. They're getting really good, and I'm excited because they are going to the depths that I was hoping we would go. Specificity. Our first question is from Mariella. My boyfriend, 29, and I, 26, have been dating long distance for a little over a year. We met through mutual friends. He's in New York City, and I'm in Chicago. Recently, I found out that one of his exes, she's now married, but they were together for 5 years, has an OnlyFans account and an erotic Instagram account where she promotes her OnlyFans account. Ooh. He was following the Instagram account until I confronted him about it. He apologized for not telling me.
Wait, can I just
Your face expression is
I'm confused. Can you clarify? Is this girl is like a webcam porn person?
It's an erotic Instagram account. I don't think that automatically means porn.
I mean, it doesn't not mean porn.
Okay, so it's an erotic, but suffice to say,
porn.
She's probably some sort of an Instagram.
She's a porn star in her own living room.
No, she's an exotic or erotic.
Are we beating around the bush here? I mean, she's doing porny stuff, right?
No, you can't. First of all, you can't.
So she's not getting naked.
Well, no, not necessarily.
So she's just
posing, probably in like. She's probably pushing the limits of Instagram's
this
rules.
Is one of those Instagram girls who does all the the sexy lingerie things and makes a lot of money.
Amazing that you just went to porn with.
I mean, it sounded like porn to me. Okay, so
she's probably one of those Instagram models who tests the limits of Instagram's nudity rules.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I'll assume that she's a webcam girl, but you can assume that. Let's say somewhere in the middle.
I do feel like there's probably a lot in between this and being a webcam girl, but the point is she's wearing not much clothes on an Instagram account, and then from there has a fans only account, which you can only assume can you imagine?
Right. You're not a fan of anything except her body, correct?
Well, yes, and chances are it's different content, and you would imagine even more.
Like she's not a comedian, she's not an entertainer.
No.
You're a fan of just looking at her body.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's her having deep conversations.
Okay. It's in the porn universe. Let's just...
Is it? I guess. It's in the adult entertainment.
It's porny.
It's...
Okay. Continue. Sorry.
This is fantastic. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, strong.
So he apologized for not telling Mariella. He said she mentioned her Instagram account to him and he got curious. At the time, it was a private account, so naturally, he requested her. I will also note that she followed him back. He also claims that he was going to tell me, but something else came up and he forgot.
Well, I mean, you have a busy day, things get hectic, you forget things,
He follows a lot of Instagram models, but was genuinely shocked and hurt about this. He claims to be a very casual Instagram user and didn't give that account any likes. I'm sorry, likes? What do likes?
Worst excuse ever. Oh, I follow a lot of ex-girlfriend porn sites, but I ain't liking anything. No likes. Not even a sort of okay with. Nothing.
Anyway, this is such a weird gray area, but is this borderline cheating? Is this my moment of men are trash? Sorry, Andy. And move on. Any advice? Sincerely, a very confused and upset girl.
First of all, she doesn't have to apologize. She's probably right most of the time. But this is what I will say to open. And I'm going to let you start, but I'm going to make an opener here. I would say it would have been better if he cheated on her. I would say that an actual just indiscretion, possibly a drunken mistake would have been far better than the scenario that has been laid out here. Whether it be porn or not porn is irrelevant. Anyway, go ahead. You can lead off.
I mean, I I agree that this is such like, it's so icky. And part of why it's extra icky is how nebulous it is and how he follows multiple Instagram models, which already unto itself is like,
honestly, even without the girlfriend following thing,
yeah,
it's already like, why? I mean, and if he's doing that, it should be a shared thing. It should be like, hey, like, I like to look at this stuff. Like, hey, what do you think about us? I don't even know how you broach that subject. That's pretty weird.
I don't like the idea of any guy following several Instagram models. I think that I know that might sound really extreme, but I think that to have that constant feed, it's one thing to be like, I'm horny, I'm going to seek out porn. It's another thing to, in your feed where you're following friends from high school and current friends and work colleagues, and that you're periodically being reminded of a girl who's probably face-tuned to death in a photo shoot where she like, think about all the contrivance that goes into the one photo that he sees. And I think subliminally, on that regular basis, that's just...
Oh, it's definitely unhealthy.
Yes.
But, okay, this is what I will say. Look, if he's the kind of guy who follows a bunch of Instagram models and she decided to date him, then I will say buyer beware. However...
Okay, fair.
Okay,
That's
to be fair to both, because there's nothing, he's not a devil for following a bunch of hot Instagram girls. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong about that. I think it's probably not a great, it's not a super healthy
I don't think
choice.
It's healthy.
It's not a healthy choice, what I was
And I
just
know
saying.
that sounds judgmental of me, but I'm sorry, it's not. It's, again, it's your daily feed. You're like scrolling through that casually. It's not
unhealthy.
like I'm seeking out, I want to go jack off to a girl in a bikini right now.
Yeah.
That's a separate thing.
Yeah, that's a separate thing.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
I think where he really crossed the line was the girlfriends, because this is what I will say. And I'll ask you this question. Like, you are an incredibly understanding wife, girlfriend, whatever you are.
Yeah, I'm an extremely non-jealous spouse. I am aware of this.
She's great. But if you...
I wouldn't be cool with that.
...found that I was like Margie, for example. What if like Margie was a Instagram model? Like, imagine if I was following her and didn't tell you, and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, how pissed would you be?
I would be pissed. I would be pissed on multiple levels. I'd be pissed if you did this and told me. I'd be pissed if you did it at all. It's the telling and not telling is just the cherry
the biggest
on
problem.
top.
I agree. Now, there's nothing wrong. Like, let's be honest. It's a morbid curiosity. If Margie was showing off, her TNA on Instagram, it would be like, how could I not at least be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, but
I would share it with you immediately. I would be like, oh my God, Charlene, Margie is on Instagram. She's like, let's just say she is selling her wares on Instagram.
Yes.
And I found this out. The first thing I would do, and I'm not saying I'm Jesus here, but the first thing I would do is be like, oh my God, Charlene, you have to see this.
Yeah.
Margie is on Instagram, like with these like skimpy outfits, like and like super glossy photos.
I would feel better about it in that scenario where I'd be like, oh my God, that's crazy.
But
like,
we'd share it. It would be like a thing we share. It wouldn't be a thing I'm doing in like the dark corners of the apartment.
Yes.
Like, oh, I want to check out what's going on with Margie.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I honestly don't even know where to start with this question. Normally I'm like, this is how I feel. I feel so strongly about this in so many different ways that I'm like, my mind is
Me
awash.
too. I don't know where to start.
I'm overwhelmed.
But I do know if this guy isn't
This guy sucks.
the Dalai Lama, if he isn't the
Dalai Lama.
No, what I'm saying is if the whole Instagram model, like ex-girlfriend porn thing, if he, other than that, isn't the Dalai Lama, there's a problem with this.
Yeah, he would have to be pretty fucking exceptional to offset how unbelievably, like, insidiously shitty this is.
Yeah, and I would give him a pass if this was a super outlier. Like if it was just like, this is some weird thing that he does.
I mean,
it's normal.
Those Instagram models have millions of followers for a reason.
Oh, no. I'm not saying he's weird
and
for
it's
doing
not because women want to buy the bikinis they're wearing.
No, yeah, right, exactly.
It's like, oh my God, I'm bikini shopping. I love that bikini.
That's where you go for all your shopping for the summer, right?
Oh, I've been looking for like a seashell bikini top.
I've been looking for something that covers absolutely nothing of my body whatsoever.
I've been looking for body paint.
Yeah. Those are the pasties I've been dreaming about my whole life. No, but I think that there is nothing inherently wrong with a man following some hot girls on Instagram. There's nothing. I am not judging that at all.
I kind of am judging.
Okay, I'm not saying that guy is going to be the best guy. He's going to be the cream of the crop. But I'm not saying that he's necessarily a bad guy. If he has other great qualities and overall he's a good guy, there's nothing super wrong.
Yes, I see what you're saying. And maybe this is where I'm being a little too demanding of men. But like, you have an extremely healthy sexual appetite. You have a good, well-rounded perception of what makes a woman a beautiful woman. I think that is partially because you seek it out when you want it. It's not
a lifestyle
It's
choice.
not a lifestyle where you're constantly... I don't think that can be overestimated.
Yeah.
How that would affect someone over time, what they're looking for in a woman's body, in her face.
We both agree, though, that it's unhealthy and it's not a great trait. But what I'm saying is it's not a deal breaker on its own. To me, the deal breaker is the secretive following of his ex-girlfriend's porn site, which it is. I'm calling it a porn site, which we all know that's what it is. There's no subtlety.
Yeah.
If there's subtlety, I say, okay, fine. You're like a model. That's fine.
I don't want to sound judgy of Instagram models, but I do think if you are going to do that with your online presence, then that's your prerogative. I know I went on The Bachelor. Who am I to talk about your online existence? But I don't think in this scenario he is forgivable on any level.
I agree.
I have no issue with you following your ex-girlfriends. You text your ex-girlfriends. You're friends with your ex-girlfriends. That's great. But if you were... I am so open-minded about this stuff. I cannot overemphasize this. And I would have a huge problem with this.
But if I told you out of the gate, I was like, oh my God, you got to see this. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, but even then... I don't know how I'd feel about you following.
No. Oh, I agree. I wouldn't be a fan and I wouldn't follow.
Especially if one of them's a fans only account that is private.
Right. It's insane. It's wrong. It's wrong all around.
He said out of curiosity.
It's wrong all around. And it's a betrayal.
Oh my God, this guy. I'm not done yet. We're not done with this question yet. He said she mentioned her Instagram account to him and he got curious.
He got curious whether his pants happened to be off while he was curious. Very, very erotic curiosity.
At the time, it was a private account, so naturally, he requested her.
Naturally. Is that what her Instagram is called?
He claims he was going to tell me, but something else came up and he forgot.
Yeah, you know what else came up? His boner.
He follows a lot of Instagram models, but was genuinely shocked and hurt about this. Oh, he sounds like a gaslighter.
Wait, he's hurt about what?
That's a great question.
Wait, he's heard about her reaction to him following his ex-girlfriend's porn site?
I think so.
Okay. This is the worst person in the world. Oh, it's worse than gaslighting.
He's gaslighting her. He's like, how could you hurt me by feeling this way about what I'm doing, about these shitty things I'm doing?
He's a victim. He's a victim.
I'm hurt that you are hurt by this shitty thing I'm doing. Oh my God.
How long has she been in a relationship with this guy?
She said they've been dating long distance for a little over a year. He's in New York City and I'm in Chicago.
Oh, good God.
And he's 29. He claims to be a very casual Instagram user and didn't give that account any likes.
I don't even have words. I don't. And I there's things I want to say I'm trying to hold back because it's just I can't even speak on this. It's so absurd.
It's overwhelming.
And I'm telling you right now that I honestly, this maybe is forgivable. Maybe they can find a way to be like, this was a terrible thing you did. You have an issue here. Don't do this again. Let's call it quits on this crazy thing and let's move on. Even if that was doable, which I accept that is doable, this may be forgivable. This demonstrates a behavioral pattern. There is no way that this thing that he did does not bleed into other aspects of his personality and his relationship.
100%. There is a 0% chance that he's not also fudging little lies and telling little, like, what are you talking about? I'm hurt by this. Like, I'm not liking them.
The page.
This guy is a casual liar.
But then now I think to myself, like, are we singling this guy out? And is like 25% of the dating pool in that age group now sort of like that? Like, is this like the canary in the coal mine? Like, is this guy normal? Is this a normal thing for a guy to do these days who's 29 in a big city?
You think this could be normal? Well, first of all, I think the fact that they're long distance is this is a big detail.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I know men, I know that they like to be, if they like their girlfriend, they want their girlfriend around quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of men are out of sight, out of mind, in
I agree with you.
experience.
And I think she should ask herself the question, what are the odds he hasn't cheated on her yet?
Oh, I was going to ask you that next section. Oh, thank you for reminding me. What are the odds that he hasn't cheated on her in this year?
It's like Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. It's not good.
Maybe that's too much of a leap. Maybe he hasn't cheated on her. He just likes to casually look at photos that he doesn't like on Instagram.
Do you really think he hasn't cheated on her? Really? If I had a gun
what do you
to
think?
your
Okay,
head,
here's a good question. What do you think the odds are that he has not masturbated to one of the photos of his ex?
They don't exist. There's no mathematical equation to determine.
There's no mathematical equation.
Yeah. But there is borderline no mathematical equation to determine whether he's cheated or not. I honestly think the odds are 1,000 to 1 that he hasn't cheated on her. And I'm not saying he's necessarily... I think that's a little more questionable just because there is also I'll put it this way. I think if it fell in his lap... Oh, there's no question.
He would cheat on her.
No question.
But I don't know if he's definitely cheated on her in the last year of this long distance relationship simply because...
Oh, the pandemic.
I wasn't even thinking of that, but more so that's
the only thing that
there's a difference between a girl coming on to you and seeking out cheating. You know, a lot of people cheat because it sort of falls in their lap.
We don't have enough information, which is why I feel a little guilty about crucifying this guy.
Where we are crucifying.
But with that one kernel of information, I feel very strongly it breaks
about this
everything
person.
else. Like if you're like, here's a good person, here's a different kind of good person, here's another good person, and you're like, oh, but one of them does this. Like, no, that's not a good person. That's not a good person.
It's like this one single thing removes them from the entire category.
Yeah, it's like one of those like menus at the kids' restaurants where you're like, which one of these is not supposed to be?
Oh
here?
Yeah, it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I hate to say it, based on this one nugget, this man, I'm wagering, does not fall into the good person category. You know what it is? It's those things combined with the gaslighting.
Yeah. Oh, the gaslighting is like that's the coup de grace. That is it. The fact that he's a victim for being a fan-only member of his girlfriend's porn accounts.
Ex-girlfriend of 5 years.
That's insane. I mean, I can't even imagine making you feel bad about making me feel bad about doing that. Would you leave me if I was following my ex? Like if you found out just now, for the last 2 years, I've been pretty much wanking it to like Margie's fan only.
It would be I am so chill about. I'm very cool about that stuff.
Yeah.
We can talk about your exes, but I really have a rule of thumb, and we've mentioned this. I think with Vanessa and Josh, we talked about being each other's primary. I think this is of the utmost importance, and therefore, if something like this happened since I've known you, so in the last 6 years, especially given how accepting and welcoming and non-jealous I've been, and I discover that you still did something like that, I would see you completely differently, and it would affect our relationship.
It would be a permanence. It would be a permanent change in how you saw me. It would be a permanent
cut in our relationship that it honestly makes me feel like a little upset to think about, because I don't know how I would heal that, because I don't know how I could have been any more easygoing and welcoming and providing an environment, a relationship environment where you could tell me that.
100%. And I would accept that. I would say wow, I really stepped in it. I deserve this reaction. And just one last thing from me. I've been very hard on this guy, but I will say this. I have been in many different types of relationships in my life.
Yes.
And some of these have been extremely casual, where it's possible I was being a little unfair about how clear I was about the nature of the relationship.
Yeah, and also you have cheated on women and been cheated on by
Correct.
women. Yes.
And
so, but what I'm saying is, you know what it is to cheat on someone.
I'm not casting the first stone here.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I've done things that are wrong, and I can see some of this guy in my younger self where like I was sort of just running around, dating a bunch of women, having some casual relationships where there wasn't a total certainty about where that relationship was, and I was doing things. And it's possible that if I was me back now when Instagram is I mean, whatever, I may do something kind of like this, but if this was a girl I really cared about and really wanted something with and respected and saw a future with, there's no me, and I've done bad things. I'm the first to admit it, and you know, I've told you all of them.
Mm-hmm. I've been there too.
Yeah,
I've been
both done
cheated
bad.
on, and I have been the cheater and the cheatee.
Yes. We have both been the person who, if we were we were different people and we were analyzing you and me's questions to this podcast, we'd be like, that's a bad guy, or that girl sucks.
Yes.
But
in our lives since the beginning of our dating history, absolutely. I have done shitty things in relationships.
So we can agree that we're not saying that we're the greatest gift from God.
No, that's not what we're saying.
What we're saying is,
if anything, that gives us...
Yes. Exactly. We've had the experience of being a jerk in relationships. And what I'm saying is, and I will close on this, is that this guy's not necessarily a devil, but what he is a devil in this relationship.
Yes.
He is not respecting this relationship. He has no interest in having a meaningful future, whether he does subconsciously or consciously. He really doesn't if he's doing this.
Yes.
And this girl has to recognize that maybe this guy isn't a terrible person. He's probably a terrible person, but... He is a terrible person in this relationship because he doesn't care enough to respect it, which means you have to end it.
And that's all that should matter to her.
Yes.
She cannot focus on, this is a shitty thing he did, but he's these things. If he's a terrible person in that relationship, by all accounts, from her perspective, he's a terrible person.
Yes.
She cannot separate, the ways in which he's, like you said, the Dalai Lama, because what does that matter for her if she is wanting to date
Correct.
him?
It's about her. This is not about the world. Look, Eva Braun and Adolf Hitler had apparently a wonderful relationship. I don't think anyone would disagree that Adolf Hitler was a piece of shit.
Are we comparing this guy to Adolf Hitler?
Oh God, did I just do that? Okay, we might have to cut that.
No, I think it's great.
I'm not, it's a very extreme metaphor.
No, but that's I think it's a fantastic example.
The most extreme
They had a great marriage and they were both terrible people.
Horrible. The worst people that have ever lived. But their relationship was great. So within that little sphere, that's really all that counts. You find your match.
Yeah.
So if this guy's your match, then he should be caring enough about the relationship to be like, oh my God, you won't believe this. My ex-girlfriend has a porn site. You should check this out. But I'm not going to, be an exclusive member of the fan page. That's not, because I like you.
Or if she's not the kind of girlfriend who's super chill about that stuff, when the ex-girlfriend said, hey, I have this fans only erotic account, he should have been like, oh, that's crazy. End of that story.
Yeah.
Not, I was curious. I requested it. We followed each other. Like,
I wouldn't blame him.
I kept that a secret.
I wouldn't blame him for wanting to see it.
What?
I would want to see it.
Yes, but
not to keep seeing it.
Yes, but part of being in a committed relationship, long distance or not, is resisting that.
Yes.
It's the same way you resist getting on a dating app and meeting girls and sort of hoping it goes somewhere. That's called being monogamous. If this is the kind of relationship they've chosen and they've committed to each other, you have to resist other things. That's part of it.
That's part of it.
And it's easier for some people than for others. I can admit that.
Yeah.
Some people just don't have the curiosity.
If she wants to continue with this guy, they have to have a completely open relationship. She has to be able to do whatever she wants. She's clearly not in for that. Therefore, this probably should end. Period.
This question and answer went on a lot longer than I thought, but I think what we've said here is, while harsh, accurate.
What makes me angry is this is a theme. It's not about this guy. There's a million of this guy, but there's also millions and millions of this girl. The girl who will literally try to analyze something like this instead of being like, bye, see ya, that's the end.
By writing the email, she's trying to justify it. Well, and a year, I feel for her. A year is a long time to spend with someone and be like,
Was this the only sign? This is what I'm saying. Was this the only thing? Is this the only piece of behavior that was an indication that this guy wasn't fully in this relationship?
We don't have any other information.
And this is what I'm saying. This makes me angry not because of the guy, because there's many of this guy. There's probably hundreds of millions of this guy.
Well, the guy makes me angry.
The guy makes me angry, but not as much as the fact that women allow for that. Like, that shouldn't be allowed. It should be so disallowed that they should know that if they do that and they're found out, it's over. Not that, oh, it's your fault for making me feel bad and we'll work through this.
Well, it's because he's manipulative and he's gaslighting her and he's playing the victim and has excuses. The culprit here is him. He did the shitty thing and then he's doing the lying and dancing around and all that stuff. He's
doing the shitty thing, but I want the women who are in these types of relationships, I wish they just respected themselves honesty
more.
Like, just honesty. Like, honesty in the relationship, openness in the relationship. Respect yourself more. Don't get to the point where you're literally being blamed for a guy who's feeling bad because you caught him having an exclusive fan membership of his ex-girlfriend's porn site. Case closed. It's a porn site, let's be honest.
Okay. I'm exhausted. It's our first question. We're like panting and heaving. Mariella, I'm always like hesitant to tell anyone what they should do in their relationship. We can only give our advice based on what you tell us. Based on this one paragraph question, Shandy is not a fan of your boyfriend. Do what you will with this reaction. Because I think we had a big reaction to this.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one is on the longer side, but I think it's kind of interesting. I apologize in advance for the length and vagueness. I would really like to preserve my and his anonymity in this. For some background information, I am in my late 20s, he is in his early 30s, and we both live in a metropolitan city. He is a very attractive public figure, and his singlehood definitely contributes to his popularity. I am doing well in my own career, but I am neither a public figure nor am I in the entertainment industry. We have been hooking up on and off for about 4 years, and our dynamic has always been purely physical. We met at a bar, had what I thought would be a one-night stand, and then he reached out asking to see me again a few days later, which started our friends with benefits relationship. I told you you'd like this one.
It sounds to me like a benefits with benefits relationship.
I can tell that you're already hooked. Like, you're pretending to be cool, but you're like...
my heart's racing.
You want to know what happens next.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Fast forward 4 years. Lately, he has been initiating more intimate conversations and asking me to stay longer when I try to leave immediately post-sex.
Oh, that was a curveball. Did not see that coming.
He asks me about my dating life and checks to see whether or not I'm seeing other people every time I see him. We never used to talk about that. He always wants to know names of who I am seeing, and he would look them up after I leave. He asks questions about what I seek in a partner and would immediately make comments about himself possessing those qualities. He also criticizes men I'm seeing by highlighting what they lack in comparison to himself.
This is getting weird.
I love her attention to detail, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, she's really paying attention to every single hint.
Oh, yeah, we're getting all the info we need.
This past year, he has been commenting on how long we have been seeing each other and how he has changed since we first met. E.g., he no longer wants meaningless hookups. He is now attracted to women who are closer to his age, etc. I'm transparent about the fact that I'm seeing other people, but he recently told me that I was the only person he's currently hooking up with, although he had other valid explanations for that. I don't acknowledge these comments and never thought about him in a different dynamic until recently because A, he has many options, many is all caps, and as bad as this sounds, I kind of have him on a pedestal and never thought he would entertain the idea of pursuing anything serious with me. And B, I too have many options and didn't really know him until he started showing more of his personality recently. From these conversations, I'm starting to see that he also has me on a slight pedestal. He thinks most men would find me intimidating, and he is very attracted to me, but talks about how intelligent or successful he thinks I am, and he thinks that most men would not be able to keep me interested. Since our dynamic has shifted and our conversations have gotten longer and more intimate after sex, I have also started to develop real feelings for him. However, there are strong reasons to suggest that none of those things mean anything. It's been 4 years and he has never initiated any hangout that isn't purely to hook up, even if he plans them in the morning. That is a pretty big one. He seldom texts just to converse. I reach out more frequently than he does, and by my own choice, I've never stayed overnight, which makes me think I'm just a very convenient fuck. Without going into too much detail, not out of coyness, but it would be too specific to our situation, the sex is great, but truly not mind-blowing. I know that we've both had better sex, so I'm not sure why he still reaches out when he has other options. I recognize that he is not very experienced with serious relationships, but I'm also a firm believer that when a man likes someone, he'll pursue it. I'd like to know your opinions on, 1, how he likely views our dynamic. That's you. And 2, how I can take it to the next level, or if I should just give up and find someone older. There aren't many men who excite me the way he does, which is why I'm conflicted about the situation. Thank you for reading my long email, and I hope to hear from you.
That felt like a novella, but a good one.
It was a good one.
I was really engaged.
Yeah, and I mean, we've gotten shorter and longer ones than that, but I was really on the edge of my seat reading this one.
Yeah,
I really wanted to run it past you.
That's great and well written.
Yeah.
How old? What's the age again? Just remind me.
She's in her late 20s and he's in his early 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I would like to applaud her on seeing all sorts of other people while this is happening and not letting this become this thing that she always strives to land him.
Yeah.
Because that happens.
Are you kidding? That happens like 90, I would say 90% of the time.
Yeah.
She's kept her wits about her.
That's the most important thing, and I'm impressed.
Yeah, she didn't let anything alter what she recognized this for what it was and accepted that.
100%. And that email or that question exudes confidence. I could tell she has confidence despite, this situation. She's very strong.
She's extremely self-aware.
Yes. 100%.
Like she knows what she has going for her, but also
Yep.
like recognizes that she's reaching out more and that, she's keeping tabs on all the right things. And in my opinion, not overthinking this. Like some people I do think kind of obsess and start to analyze the wrong things. Well, I feel like the things she's thinking about are things any smart person would be like,
yeah.
She's really, I like her.
I do too. I would assume this guy's in entertainment. And he's a semi-famous person in entertainment, which means he's probably nuts. No offense to the entire entertainment industry, but in relationships...
Are we not in entertainment right now? Are we not entertaining you?
Are you not entertained? But no, but we're not like big-time entertainers. Let's get real here.
Yeah, in early
Not yet,
30s too, I feel like there's a level of like pursuit in that to reach that level by that age.
He's at the most crazy celebrity place in relationships than one probably gets, as one gets. So I guess...
Assuming he's as that level of famous. But
I assume based on her way of being, I'm assuming this guy is pretty
I don't think
famous.
she's exaggerating.
Yeah. I don't know if he's like Brad Pitt famous, but he's definitely like not like, low C, D level famous.
Yes.
So this is what
I'm like, yes, I know for sure you are correct about
coming
that.
from a C+, B- celebrity.
Okay, I'm more like F-.
Okay, F-, but I'm biased. So I think, and I'm going to let you sort of lead on this one because I want to hear what you have to say, but I don't want to get too stuck in the male perspective, but I think my instant reaction was that he's a controlling person. He doesn't like, even though he wants, and I'm almost certain he wants to keep this relationship as casual as possible. I mean, the thing that really struck me was that she's never even stayed over the night in 4 years. That's insane.
Yes, and I think, I do think this is one of those situations where each negative is like the weight of 3 positives. I know that sounds a little harsh.
Explain.
Well, he'll ask about other guys she's seeing, which shows like mild curiosity, and he's thinking of her and like realizes how eligible she is, but not insisting that she stay the night or not reaching out first, each of those is worth 3 times him asking who else she's seeing.
Like you soothe my ego, but at the same time, get out of my house. I don't want you to be here in the morning.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's like that. Maybe he is like, oh, stay. And she's insisting that she go.
I don't get that feeling.
For me, the biggest red flag is not even the fact that she reaches out first. It's the fact that he's never initiated a hang that was not a hookup.
Yeah. That's kind of nuts. 4 years to keep that going.
That one's worth like 10 questions about who else she's seeing.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So important.
The other one is words. I always get back to, like, if you distill it down, it's words versus actions. His words are, oh, I have those qualities you possess. I do think you're right. I think there's like a bit of an ego thing here. He's probably used to his hookups developing feelings for him and wanting something more from him. And I do think he probably has her on something of a pedestal because of her unattainable factor.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying she doesn't have things to offer that would make her a great partner for him. It's more so that if he felt that strongly, he would have asked to take her out to dinner by now. That didn't involve a hookup.
It's truly amazing that he hasn't even, there hasn't been anything except for sex. But
I don't want to make, maybe they do go to dinner and then it's followed up by a hookup. That's possible.
I didn't get any impression that there's anything except sex. I think this guy is obviously, and again, I'm not judging, look, everyone has their faults, but he's very selfish. What he wants is to not only have her exactly how he wants her for basically the rest of his life, but he also wants her to put him on a pedestal and think of him as the best guy that she dates or has sex with, while at the same time, he has absolutely no intention of elevating this relationship anywhere past not only just sex, but not even sleeping over. So he's completely in the camp of like, I'm going to use you for sex. I like having sex with you, and I like the way I feel.
They're using each other, and it sounds like they're using each other for decent sex.
And it should stay that way. She has to realize that she can keep doing this for the rest of her life as long as 2 things exist. One is she doesn't try to make something it's not, which it never will be, by the way.
You don't think that would ever?
I don't think this is ever blossoming. 4 years of no sleeping over and sex? That's too long. That there should have already been a point in his life where he's like, I really like this girl. I want to take this to the next level.
Yeah, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, maybe he's afraid of her. He does really find her that intimidating.
4 years? That's college. That's your whole college.
Yeah, and also when you're regularly putting your penis inside her, like, I think you should have a bit of confidence to ask her out on a date that doesn't involve putting your penis inside her. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he's not sure if she's going to reject him. They're having sex regularly.
Absolutely. He's milking the cow without owning the cow.
Farm?
Oh, wait. What is that? Hold on. I just screwed that up. What's the thing where you get the milk, but you don't have...
Why pay for the cow when you get the milk for free?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that's a probably better way of saying.
That's such a dated...
But
I don't like that expression, actually. Just because it suggests that she's losing milk. Like, she's also milking the cow.
No. You interrupt me. I was just about to say it's a unilateral
mutually beneficial.
Having the milk without buying the cow situation. It's symbiotic. Let's say. That's a better...
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for assuming you were going...
No. I wasn't going one way on that. Or is it bilateral? I always forget. It's a word I screw up all the time.
Well, we know what you mean.
Anyway, it's both people doing the thing.
Yeah.
So I think that as long as she understands that this is going to never change, this is it. And the second very important thing is she doesn't let this hamper or stall any of her other relationships from developing into something more meaningful, then this is fine.
Which it sounds like she's very conscious of not allowing to happen.
She seems confident. She seems conscious. And she also seems like, of the 2 of them, she might be the one that's pushing a little bit more, which is great.
I think she has as much control over this situation as any woman in her position can possibly have.
Which is not full control.
Yes, but that's just an inherent part of being in a friends with benefits situation, especially where one person has...
I've been in friends with benefit situations where literally my feelings never existed. And they went on for months and maybe more than a year.
Well, that's actually valuable male perspective right there.
And I know...
Okay, here's a good question. You're not a celebrity.
I mean,
not yet.
I don't know how you can say that. This is This is the big time right here.
But have you ever had a friends with benefits situation with a woman where you felt her developing feelings? This happen?
Yes.
Have you felt yourself develop feelings with friends with benefits? That's a good question. What's the longest friends with benefits you've been in, and did you ever develop feelings? I would almost argue, then I'll let you answer the question I'm asking. I would almost argue that the longer the friends with benefits goes on for, the less likely it is that you're going to develop real feelings.
Yes, I would agree with that. The longest for me, it's kind of like I had a kind of an amazing thing where it doesn't count because there was like an 8-year like dormancy period, but I had like a friends with benefits for like a year, and then like 8 years later I had another 6 months with the same person, which is kind of insane.
Oh.
And then I'd say a year was the max that caps out, or like 8 to 12 months is the max on the friends with benefits thing.
Okay. And why did it end?
It ended with I got into a relationship that kind of like made it not
okay.
yeah, okay, but also kind of vanquished it as well. Like I was like, I don't really need that right now.
Okay.
However, there have been times, and this is the thing, I wouldn't let myself be in a friends with benefits situation where I felt there was the risk of me developing real emotions. I have been in friends with benefits. I just don't think it's wise. I think it's a dangerous move. I would just date that girl out of the gate, right?
So here's a question. Have you ever wanted more from someone in a friends with benefits?
No, not me.
So that's a real man.
I felt like I was in control of the situation. If I wanted to date a girl, I would date a girl. If I wanted to date a girl who didn't want to date me, I'd pursue her and I'd be frustrated and I'd be annoyed and then I'd just give up.
Okay.
If I met a girl who I loved fucking, but I really didn't feel like we had a connection and she was okay with that situation, why not?
You know what I think happened with this guy, and the reason why his tone is changing more recently is because, late 20s to early 30s, you start to think about your connections to other humans and how substantial those are. I feel like maybe he dated some less substantial women than her, less cool and easygoing maybe, and just sort of, there are many things about her that he recognizes are desirable traits, and he now, having more to compare her to, sees her more, is more like, wow, she really is something special.
She's the best of all my booty calls, is what he's basically thinking. You want to hear something really sick that's possible?
Oh,
maybe.
Do I want to hear this?
Maybe he's so damaged in the relationship department and so dysfunctional that he considers this one of the more meaningful relationships he's ever had. And particularly since this guy seems a little bit control freaky and manipulative in the sense that he's like, all these guys aren't as good as me, but also you can't stay the night.
Oh, to me, that just sounds so insecure.
Oh, super insecure, but it's also manipulative. It's like a narcissistic, cycle of manipulation.
It's like he's insecure, but not smart enough to see how by doing that, he's showing his insecurity.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's well put.
It kind of sounds like... And this is such a leap for me to make, and I recognize that based on this one question, but I feel like she's smarter than he is.
Oh, there's no doubt she is. There's no doubt. I picture him as like a super dumb TV actor. And that's not general. I think a lot of TV actors are super smart. I'm just saying he's like one of those guys where you're like, okay, that's a dumb guy.
Well, and it's not because he's an actor that we feel that way. It's because of who else are you dating? I have those traits. Like, oh, I'm better than him in this way. Like, it's so, like we said, unless he's doing it in a joking manner, it's
not joking.
It's too transparent to show much. It's not showing any nuance in who he is.
Yeah.
And how he displays confidence. I know he's famous, but I feel like she can do better, especially if the sex is only mediocre.
She may be doing better. She may be doing better on the regular.
Yeah. I can see it being just sort of a fun adventure for her. I think as she seems aware more than anyone, including us, she seems aware of the fact that she should keep real feelings at bay.
Yeah.
And Anonymous, we're here to tell you that we agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. She should not be putting any more stock into these, unless those words become actions, which they are very unlikely to after 4 years of a friends with benefits relationship.
And I will say one last thing, just I'm not criticizing her, but I am giving some just
tough
love, a little bit of caution.
Okay,
is that the novelty of this should have probably worn off by now because she herself admitted the sex isn't great. So if it's just sex, If it's just sex, then this should be amazing sex. It's 4 years. This isn't like 6 months. It's 4 years of mediocre sex.
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay.
Oh, you're surprised.
I'm surprised. I thought that was like a slam dunk.
I disagree because the fact that he has fame on his side adds a certain something to this scenario that she's not going to get just anywhere.
I agree. However, I 100% agree with you.
It's forbidden. It's secret.
Oh.
Maybe his star has risen since they first met, so she's been watching that and like has this secret with him. She doesn't get the benefits.
She doesn't get to go to premiere. She doesn't get to go to like sporting events. She doesn't get to go to great restaurants.
He has this public persona, and she. I think that adds an element to this that it's hard to define.
No one knows about it. She's just doing this in a vacuum.
Yeah, but then it adds to the sort of secrecy of it.
Okay. Again, this is novelty, and it's nuanced novelty.
Yes.
And I think that 4 years is a good amount of novelty. I think if this goes 6, 7, 8 years, even if she's super confident and really's got her shit together, I think it's going to start bleeding into her ability to have like a really long-term relationship with someone else.
You know what's interesting is it sounds like it has begun to bleed into it, and because she's so smart, she's immediately like, I feel this bleeding. Am I crazy?
No, she's not crazy.
That's exactly. No,
she's the least crazy person I've ever heard in my life. What I think she should do is something that, probably it's time. It's 4 years. It's like she's gone through an entire degree. She's got her degree in having casual sex with a celebrity.
What you're asking, though, is for her at her most invested state to suddenly cut it off. She's been less invested than she is now.
I'm not saying she should cut off. What I'm saying is she should, not an ultimatum, but she should say, hey, listen, we've been doing this for a long time. I'm into it. I like chatting with you. I like, whatever. Sex is a 6.5. It's good enough.
You can imagine if she said that. He would want her even more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's totally.
He'd be like, let me show you how I'm a 9.
I'm a 7.75. So, anyway, I think she should have that talk, and I think she should say, I'm not going to, this is not an ultimatum. I'm not like putting my foot down. I just think that this needs to go somewhere, or I need to kind of like focus on the rest of my life. And I'm not saying I'll never see you again. Maybe we'll probably see each other again, but I think we should, like, what do you want?
I think you're skipping, and maybe it's in her best interest that maybe your advice is better. You're skipping to the end of this. I think that is that's inevitable. I think that's inevitably going to happen.
Oh, you think she should pull the cord?
You're saying she should pull the cord.
No, you think she should limit the amount of time she sees him.
I think for now it's baby steps. She, like I said, 4 years. Even if it's just sex, they have a relationship. They have an intimacy with each other. They have a familiarity that she probably doesn't have with anyone else, even if she's dating casually on the side. Mm-hmm. 4 years is a long time to have any kind of regular sexual interaction.
It's amazing. It's like record breaking.
So I think it's too extreme to be like, end it now.
No, I didn't say that though. I didn't say end it. I said have the talk about like, I think, like, what do you want? Like, do we want this?
I know.
What do we want?
No, I don't even think this is talk worthy.
Really?
Yeah.
But she seems to like want to take it to the next level, and he's being weird. Like, why is it not
talk
worthy?
Yeah, but he's showing her. I think if she were to ask him for words to affirm that she's he would make her even more invested, but not actually change the way he sees it.
So in other words, you're saying that this is the way it's going to be forever. And I kind of agree with you. And she should just accept it and move on with her life and treat this as like a hobby.
No, that's not. Well, no, I'm kind of, but let me finish. So first of all, I think if she opens, because he does seem a little insecure and a little manipulative in a subtle way, not in a mean-spirited way. There are people that are way worse than him. But I just think that if she were like, I'm feeling these feelings for you, I'm not sure. I think he would be like, yeah, I really like you too. Like, yeah, let's hang out in a non-hookup-y way. But I think he wouldn't want to cut it off. He wouldn't want to lose her. But I also feel like if he really wanted to pursue this, he would do it. I don't want her to waste time investing emotion in him and real feelings in him, given he's already told her what she needs to know through his actions.
So you're saying, like, kind of agree. We kind of agree. We're just like, it's like we're on different streets parallel to each other. So you're basically saying, and we agree on this, is that he has no intentions of elevating this to anything more than it is. And I agree with you. However, I do believe that we're all human. And I think that no matter how strong and confident she is, this is going to affect, like just a little breeze on a sail. It's going to affect her relationship future trajectory. And I think that it can be as simple. She doesn't have to be like, we need to talk. Where is this going? Where are we going to be in 2 years? No, she can just say like, hey, I want to go to dinner tonight. Take me out to a nice place. Or I want to go to a show tonight. Or I want to spend a weekend
Yeah, but
somewhere.
what you're asking is for them to go to the next level instead of backing off. And that's what I think they
No,
should
you
do.
should just get intel from it. Like she's like, I want to do this thing. She doesn't have to even do it. She could just be bluffing. She's like, I want to do this thing. And that's it. That's the way we're going to hang out this time. Not in a weird way. Not in a like a, this is an ultimatum. Just like, I want to do this. Let's go.
I see the point you're making. I still think it's prolonging the inevitable and ultimately wasting her time.
So your suggestion is to keep trickling this thing along and keep it at bay and just do the rest of her life. And
I think she's at a crossroads in this. And I think she has spent plenty time thinking about this. And I think she also knows what we're going to say.
Okay.
And I think she just needs to hear it from an unbiased party who doesn't know who either of them are. And I think that asking the questions and kind of entertaining it more is only going to, like I said, prolong the inevitable. This isn't going anywhere. And she will know that more effectively if she backs off than if she puts another foot forward on this. If she backs off and he's like, oh wait, actually I'm not cool with losing you, that's different.
I agree. I think we're saying kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But
I know you. Believe me, I'm the queen of information. I'm always like, you want the information. You have to ask the question so you can get the information. You can't make a decision until you have the information. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I think she has 4 years worth of information. He is not going to give her a clear-cut answer. It's only going to muddy the waters.
Yeah, but she has to try to change the rudder a little bit. She has to be like, let's do this thing. We're doing this. I want to do this thing. I don't care what you say. And his reaction will tell. And then she'll know for sure. But I think from hearing that long letter, let's call it, that she does have this little bit of uncertainty about like, do I want to take this to the next level? Do I want to try?
Oh, she definitely has. She's saying she's developed real feelings for him.
That's what I'm saying. This is an important thing to address. I don't think we can discount that. And I think that needs to be brought to a head because the longer she has these feelings and the more they're, unreciprocated, or at least not materially reciprocated, the more she's going to get invested in the idea of this and the more she's going to be distracted from the rest of her life. So I think it has to come to a head somehow. If she had no feelings and she was like, I've been having sex with this guy for 4 years. I literally don't care about him if he falls off a cliff tomorrow. But is that normal? What should I do? That's not the case.
We kind of agree. I don't agree in the execution.
So she should just keep fucking this guy for the rest of her life.
I think no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying she should continue to recognize this for what it is, which she's getting a little skewed because, he's older now. He's saying, oh, now that I'm older, I'm more interested in dating women my age. Like he's saying all these things that would suggest he's a little more interested, like he's interested in pursuing something real with her. But she's been having sex with him for 4 years. Like, I don't know how long this side of him has been coming out, but there has been plenty of opportunity.
I understand, but she hasn't done anything about it, and now she's getting feelings. This is becoming something that might be a problem. I get what you're saying.
No, I just think that if she asks him, he's going to make her feel validated in those feelings for what is ultimately going to be a waste of time.
No, but she has to force action. And it's not like she's like, I want you to move in with me and meet my parents. No, it can be something as simple as I said. I want to go to this show tonight. Or, I mean, now, obviously, that's kind of unrealistic. But I want to go to dinner tonight. I want to go up to the country for a weekend to some bed and breakfast. I don't know. I can't, things. I want to go on a vacation. I want to go to a restaurant.
This guy is going to just waste her time. He has shown her what she needs to know.
Okay.
She has the information.
I want to know, Charlene Joint, you're in her shoes right now. What are you going to do for the next... What's your plan? What are you doing, Charlene? I'm the guy. I'm this guy.
No, it can't be you. It has to be. It has to be someone else. Someone else that I have a crush on.
George Clooney, it will not stop wanting to have sex with you and not let you sleep over at his place. What are you going to do?
Not let sleep over is different. She's saying that she's the one that leaves. What I find interesting is that he hasn't tried to convince her to stay.
Okay.
What? You don't think that means something? I think it does.
No. I think you're reading into this. I think he doesn't really want her to stay over.
Well, all the more reason why she shouldn't have to say, I want to go to this restaurant. She knows. We can tell by this email.
So what are you doing? What is she doing? What does she do?
I think that she needs to just not pursue those feelings. She needs to, if anything, retreat a bit, not completely.
That's easy for you to say. You're not the one having the feelings.
I know, but
you're being too rational about this.
I know, but I am an objective party who sees the end in this, and that's why I can freely say what I agree. I'm being too rational.
You're being me. I'm the one who's supposed to say this. You're supposed to be the one who understands the female emotions. What's going on here? You're being a dude right now.
No.
You are.
No, I mean, this is how that's not fair. This is how I am.
No, dudes
and I do have a bit of a dude side when it comes to this stuff.
I'm so surprised you feel this way.
Oh, no, I'm not. Trust me, when I was a dater, I was her.
All right.
I was like, well, I'm feeling these feelings, but, he's given me stuff in this column and stuff in this column, but I do recognize the weight of the stuff in this column versus the weight in this column, and it's like, well, based on that information.
Well, that's hyper rational.
Yeah, but that's how I was when I dated.
She's not you. I'm saying that if she said that she's developing feelings after 4 years of this, so suddenly something has changed. It's not this. She obviously has taken all this information and now it's burgeoned into something different.
Burgeoned.
Was that the proper use of it?
It's a fantastic use of the.
Too heavy a word for that sentence?
No, I'm stoked that you just used burgeoned.
All right. So now, that's good. That's good. I like that. Does that mean?
I recognize that I am looking at this too rationally, and maybe I'm being unrealistic by saying, well, she should cut off her feelings and whatever. It's because I know she's rational that I'm giving this advice. I'm not like, oh, look, I'm telling her what I think she should do based on how the email's written and the kind of person I think she is. She can throw my advice in the trash, but that I maintain he's giving her the information that she needs. She does not need to say what restaurant she wants to go to.
I feel like it's not as easy as you're making it sound. That's the only thing I disagree with. I think that she has what could become a serious problem that could also be resolved pretty easily, but without getting her emotions involved to some degree is going to be almost impossible.
I think you're asking her to take a risk. You don't think it's a risk. You think it's just to get information. I think is a huge risk by revealing that she likes him and she wants more from it. It could end up becoming another year.
What I'm saying is just bring up something you want to do with him because you enjoy spending time with him.
She shouldn't have to say that there's something she's been wanting to do. He should be like, God, I'd love to spend more time with her. There was that drive-in theater. There was that, thingamabob.
Okay.
He has her number.
Okay, then end it. Then just end it now. Because if you're not going to get any more intel, if you're not going to try to drive it somewhere where you might want it to go, or just curiosity, just curiously find out where it could go, then end it. Because this is going to affect the course of her relationship.
I think,
There's no question.
We're dancing around what the core concern is here. And that is that she misses out on something more quality or that has better potential because of him.
He's got a lien on a part of her heart, and it's causing a problem.
A lien.
Yeah, he owns a little quadrant.
Yes.
And it's a problem.
Yes.
If she had said, I want nothing more of this. I see him as literally a piece of
meat.
Like T-bone steak. Yeah. Like that's it. Once every 2 weeks, I get my rocks off, and I could care less if he, goes to the moon, and I don't care what happens to him.
Yeah.
I'm getting my rocks off. I'm happy. Then I'd say you're 100% right.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's not affecting your life. But she has feelings for him. That's a problem. And that's not going to get better. It's not like tomorrow she's going to wake up and be like, I don't have feelings. That was a joke. It's going to get worse.
The advice I give on this podcast is bespoke. And I'm giving advice based on who I think she is based on.
And I think you are giving her ability to suppress her feelings a little too much credit.
I disagree. We can agree to disagree at this
I
one.
think this is the most agreeing to disagree that's ever happened.
On this podcast for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm saying in history.
In history, yeah, I know. We usually do agree.
Is the definition of agree to disagree.
I'm actually surprised. I thought for this one we would see like...
I still think we kind of agree.
We do agree.
I really think there's just a slight subtlety to the difference
We
here.
agree on the core concern, which is that she allows us to affect other relationships. What we disagree on is you feel like she should try to see if there's something there. You know, what I think she should do is remove him from one column and put him in another, like, I understand,
Again,
robotically.
robot.
Yes.
Like she's like, must process information. This guy, no good, must move on. No, it's not like that. She's got a feeling.
I was a bit like that when I dated. I was almost...
You're like really sometimes like icy. It's really impressive. That side scares me almost.
Well, first of all, I have some pride when it comes to that. I recognize that. I don't think I have too much pride. I'm very careful about having too much pride, but I have a lot of self-respect when it comes to dating, and I always have. You're an
outlier. I think you're an outlier.
She's the same as me. This woman is the same as me.
Okay.
I'm not asking of her something that I have not been able to do myself. And I'm saying it because I see myself in her email.
6.5 sex.
That's all this comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth noting. I would implore her to remove the excitement of his celebrity from the equation and see if she would still be doing this after 4 years.
This should have worn off already, particularly since she's not getting any perks from it. It's just like, what is she telling her friends? Like, ooh, I saw this guy again. Like, who cares?
It's secret. And she feels special, probably.
4 years, though? Come on. How much can you milk this
thing? We answered this one. And I think this is a Shandy first. We agree.
We agree.
But there's a slight disagreement in the execution.
It's a very poor man's disagreement.
It is a poor man's disagreement.
We'll agree to slightly disagree.
Okay, we'll move on. That was a good one. I liked that one a lot.
Me too.
I don't even
I can't believe you think that. Like, it's so obvious to me that she needs to fucking end that. She's got feelings for him.
I'm saying she needs to end it.
Not clearly.
No, I'm saying she needs to categorize it differently. Are we still going on this?
No. Oh God. What?
I can't believe you.
No, I don't think you said that. You didn't say she should end it. You weren't clear on that.
Well, I think it's unrealistic to ask her to snip it completely, but I do think that would probably be the healthiest thing. What you're contradicting yourself was you're saying that you believe so much in her confidence and her ability that you don't see there any risk in blah, blah, blah. But then when I say she should say, hey, I want to do this thing and get the intel, you're like, oh no, then she's going to get sucked back in. So you don't think she's that confident. You don't think she has the strength to be able to see this for what it is. Are you kidding me? In his email, he's asking about people she's dating. He's comparing herself to people she's dating. He's giving her all these little things.
Okay, but you, again, are putting this into your little algorithm and coming out with this equation. She's a human who now has feelings for this guy that are growing. You're not accounting for that enough. And I can't believe I'm the one saying that. Like, I'm the guy. I should be like, oh, whatever. Like a guy does. Whatever. Whatever. That's a guy thing, apparently. But I think you're not accounting for emotions. Every single thing I agree with you 100%. If she never said the thing about getting the emotions, I would say 100% you're right. No disagreements. But the emotions, you're discounting that.
Yeah,
put yourself in her shoes.
No. I am putting her trust me, I'm putting myself in her shoes more than I have with any question ever.
Oh my God, that's such a Trump reaction. It's like, no one has ever put themselves in other people's shoes more than I am right now.
No one has ever put themselves in another person's pair of shoes as much as I am.
It's a tremendous amount of putting in the shoes. The shoes are fully filled with
by me.
Yeah. It's never been more filled by a person, these shoes.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, trust
Trump
me. It's because I'm putting myself in her shoes.
Yeah.
She is putting equal stock in the things that are encouraging her to feel feelings and the red flags. What I think she already knows, and what I'm encouraging her to remember, is that those do not have the same value.
Okay. Again, we're just going in circles. I agree with you, but I also think you are not giving the X factor of her emotions enough weight. Those are going to cause trouble. And they need to be addressed.
I think that it's not so much about addressing. I think it's easier. That's what I think the difference is. It's easier to keep him in a certain category than it is to snip the umbilical cord altogether. What is most important, what is crucial, is that she doesn't let it put blinders on her, so that she doesn't miss out on dates with other people. She doesn't have a spot in her heart for him that she's not allowing herself to be available to.
Again, I agree with everything you say from a purely mathematical perspective.
Yes. Okay, I think we should move on from this question. We've made clear how we feel, and we're just going to agree to disagree on this one. I knew this day would come.
We're going to disagree. We're going to agree to disagree about agreeing on this.
That's totally what's happening right now. Wow, that was the most heated Dear Shandy question of all time.
It was heated because we were so close to the middle. If we were so apart, it would have been less heated. It would have been like, oh, we totally disagree. Like, we're not going to, there's no middle. I thought you were so close to the middle on me that I wanted to pull you just to the center.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do with you. I wanted to convince you because I felt like I could.
Yeah, and we just were so close that we couldn't do it.
We just couldn't.
That's where the fight came.
I mean, fight is strong, but...
It's the worst fight we've ever had.
Yeah.
Is her name Anonymous?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have Anonymous on the show.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
We would love to have you on.
We want you.
We want you on. We have many questions for you, but I can understand why she might not want to come.
Yeah, we can save all the fighting for the show.
Yeah, wow. Well, this is very heated.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe she got everything she wanted out of this. We've been talking about it for so long.
She already like hung up on us.
Yeah. Everyone else is like, oh, just move on. We don't want to listen to this answer anymore. This next question is another anonymous. I'm 27 and have been with my boyfriend, also 27, since 19. 8.5 years, she writes with 3 exclamation marks. At first, I wasn't attracted to him, but we became really great, close friends, and eventually it turned romantic. He's my best friend and a great boyfriend. We also just bought a house together. However, with this huge purchase, I've started to feel a few doubts about the situation. My question to you and Andy is, do you think it is important to have a lot of dating and sexual experiences prior to settling down? Prior to this relationship, I was single for 1 year, but so young. That means she was 18. Therefore, I never really fully got to explore my sexuality. I'm also bi-curious. My boyfriend has only ever slept with me, but has no desire to explore other people. We've discussed the possibility of an open relationship, and he is comfortable with me seeking out a sexual experience with a woman only. You're not giving him...
He's real Mother Teresa.
However, the very few times I've had a possible opportunity, I felt guilty and nothing ever came of it. Any advice is appreciated. I'm starting.
Yeah, no, welcome.
I mean, I don't think it's any surprise what I'm going to say to this. I think that one of life's most precious gems that cannot go wasted is curiosity. And there's already not enough of it in the world. And I mean, if you're bi-curious, how tragic would that be to live out your life and never explore? That's never exploring an entire side of your sexuality. Especially since her boyfriend is so unbelievably giving and generous that he would allow her to have sex with a woman in front of him. Yeah. So. You're not impressed with how generous he is. No. I mean, to be honest, I am impressed because many guys would probably not want that or be threatened by it. He doesn't deserve, I'm being facetious, but it is kind of impressive. He doesn't deserve all the trophies because I do think a lot of guys in his situation would be cool with it. However, there would be a lot who also wouldn't be. So, or a lot who, in theory, might be cool with it, and then in practice might be like, "Ooh, I can't handle this." Well, yeah, they are turned on by it in like a porny way, but then actually, in reality, it becomes emotionally. If they spend time with the other person, even if it's a woman, they're like, I find it interesting that she feels guilty despite getting his permission. And I feel like part of that is because they've been together for, almost 9 years. They're all each other has ever known. Yeah. And I'm going to look at my camera for this. Anonymous, you have permission. As long as the permission came in and not passive aggressive or ultimatum-y way. Or a bluff. Oh, you think so? Oh, yeah.
He's like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
have this
fine.
relationship with a woman.
Yeah.
See if I
hook
care.
up with a woman. Yeah.
You don't
As
want
long
that.
as it was in a healthy, encouraging, loving way, shed the guilt. Oh my God. There are so many more worthy things in this world to feel guilty about than
100%.
this. You have permission. You live once. People, I feel like, don't spend enough time thinking about this. You live once. They're only 27. I don't want to say it's not going to be easier to explore this in 10, 15 years. But 27, it's like this is your time for discovery, self-discovery, sexual discovery.
I agree with you 98%.
Oh.
But there is the issue of Pandora's box. And they have not been with anybody else since they were teenagers. Mm-hmm. And I assume probably no one before that. So what happens, and just let me finish. What happens if you let that cat out of the bag? Like, what happens if she gets a taste of this and is like, oh my God, I've been missing out my whole life on this. Like,
well, then
what have I been
thank
doing?
God she did it now and not later.
Again, let me finish. Yes. So my feeling is this. There is a slight risk to this. And I totally agree with you, 100%, 98%. There is a slight risk to this, and that risk is that this opens the box and suddenly she or he, probably her, is just like, wow, like my life just changed. I need to go somewhere else. But I think.
So I feel like that just has to happen.
I agreed.
As soon as possible.
Again, we're going to agree 100% on this. So you don't need to even try to disagree with me. I'm not going to let you. On the other side of the coin, I think there is a chance, and a decent chance, as long as he plays ball, like as long as he behaves himself and doesn't go crazy. And on her too. I mean, it depends how mutual this is. As long as they treat this with respect and maturity, I think this could take their relationship to the next level. I think it could strengthen it for further. So basically what I'm saying is, if what they have is real and worthy of a lifetime commitment, this is either going to make it clear that it's not, or that it 100% is.
Yes. This is a situation where they are a partnership of 8.5 years. They bought a house together. There's so much security there. She has that foundation to go and seek out all the other information she wants.
Yes.
He's telling her in every single way that this is like a safe environment.
And we're assuming he means it, which I hope he does.
We are assuming he means it.
If he doesn't mean it, then there's problems. If he does mean it, and he really wants her to be happy and he wants the best for her, this is going to make the relationship much stronger, most likely.
Assuming it does come from an authentic place.
Yes.
And honestly, if it hurts the relationship,
it wasn't supposed to be anyway.
Yes.
It was just waiting for her to see that she was missing out on all this stuff.
Yes.
And that's not a good way to live. Even if you think you're happy, you find out something that makes you realize that you weren't fully happy, it's better than living a whole life of like 6.5, 7.
Yes. And of unfulfilled, unexplored curiosity. This is so much bigger than like, oh, I'm interested in, a bit of this themed sex or this kind of fetishy thing. We're talking a gender. She's bi-curious. Oh my God. Do something with that. Explore that. Yeah. The thought of someone being bi-curious in this one life we have, and at a time when it's never been more okay socially to do it. Please.
I mean, part of me
go
almost...
hook up with girls, please.
Yes. Listen to her. Listen to your doctor.
It's true.
Part of me kind of feels like this guy is actually not only cool with it, but he's trying to play it like extra cool. Like he's like, yeah, yeah, it's okay if that's what you want. And meanwhile, he's like, yes. I kind of think that. I would love to get his perspective. I'd love to meet. You want to meet I'd
the
love
kind
to
of
meet
guy.
the guy. I'd love to have both of them on, like just to be like, see what he's about.
Yeah.
This is fascinating.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. It always is interesting to me when someone has the option for openness. It's like such a lack of curiosity. He's like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And it
Like,
conflicts with her. Yeah, totally. It's a conflicting thing. They both have a different life outlook in that respect.
Yeah. I find that fascinating just because it's so different from either of us.
Yeah.
I respect it. I actually think that he's probably more content in life than a lot of people, or at least in terms of sexuality. You know, a lot of people, there is this grass is greener mentality and always wondering what's around the corner. And he clearly is not cursed with that. And I'm sure he's probably a happier person.
Yeah.
But I don't relate to it at all. I was always like, I want to date all the people. I want to learn all the things. I want to know what I want and what I don't want.
Yeah. There was a line in a Pink Floyd song which really always resonated with me and sort of affects a lot of my decision making. But to paraphrase it, it's like, no one told you when to run, you missed the starting gun. And I always feel like you got to be very careful for assuming you have 1,000 years to live.
Yes. Oh, I love you. That was so poignant.
Oh, it's sweet. But it's true.
And at 27, I do feel like there is that sense of, yeah, we have our whole lives ahead of us.
No.
Trust me, 37 comes before, like sooner than you think it's going to.
Yeah.
And it's not like after you've been together for 18 and a half years, it's going to be easier then to explore your bi-curiosity.
And to quote another John Mellencamp, changes come around real fast, make us women and men. And it's again, it's all about the passage of time. Like you think you have all the time in the world when you're in your 20s, and then suddenly your decision-making window is like an inch.
And unfortunately, it actually gets harder because when you're in your 20s, it is more likely that other women who you might be interested are also exploring that. Like it's less likely that they're married with children.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about where you are in your life. It's about the options you have. And everyone's lives trudge forward. Everyone explores those. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people explore those things. A lot of people settle down and get married and make babies. And maybe even if they do have that little niggle in the back of their mind that they think about once in a while, they're just less likely to explore it.
Because they don't
later.
Need that. Like I'm not going to go to every couple that like met when they were 18 and is having a happy relationship at 27 and be like, no, you guys don't get it. You got to go out. You got to bang everybody. Everything that moves, bang, bang, bang. I'm not going to say that because they're happy. I'm not a jerk. But if one of them or both of them has this strong inkling, like I want to explore this, then it's like, you have to. As you said, you have to.
This is not optional. Yep. She has to. Especially if she's curious enough to write this.
Again, that always comes out. It's that meta thing. It's like we have the advantage of it. Yeah, we have such an advantage. It's like, why are you writing into a podcast? Why are you appearing on this show?
It's always that extra thing in our argument. It's like, you wrote us. Right. We know. Right. We know how bi-curious you are.
Yeah.
Go hook up with girls, Anonymous. Yeah. This is not
You're
optional.
writing letters to podcasts. You got to go do this.
Go, and you have permission. Are you kidding me?
From us.
Yeah.
And from him.
Okay, I feel like we answered that one. I think it's pretty clear how we feel about this.
Yes.
Anonymous.
No disagreements here.
You know what we think you should do. Yes. You live once, time flies, and curiosity should not go unsated.
Nice. I was hoping you would go with sated.
I just raised your burgeon.
Burgeon.
All right. No, burgeon is way better than sate.
Yeah, but you used it so well. Usage is important. I don't think my burgeon was necessarily in the right place.
I thought it worked really well. Burgeon is way tougher to apply.
I thought it was a little pompous in that usage. I think sated is way more appropriate.
They were both stretching it a bit. They were both a bit obnoxious.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
But that's what Dear Shandy is all about.
Being obnoxious.
You guys, your questions.
Solid. Piercing
questions.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Dear Shandy. If you haven't already, you know what I'm going to ask of you: to like this video or leave a nice review on iTunes, and to subscribe, hit notification bells, leave comments, all the things you can do to help us grow, because we are still Andy's giving a small signal with his fingers. We are a tiny, tiny podcast. So thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Dear Shandy.